Hi everyone, Dana here.
That was very good, Cari. That was a very good Dana impersonation. But you have to be a little bit more cheery.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, Dana here.
Oh no, wait. I don't wave like this. I don't know what that is. I do this. My hand goes side to side.
Hi everyone.
There you go. Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
Dana here.
Dana here.
Hey everyone, Dana here, and in this video I am really looking forward to talking about this topic with Cari from the Easy German YouTube channel. I think we should just get into it then?
Yeah.
Let's get into
I'm
it.
ready.
What do you think of the phrase, boys will be boys? What does this phrase mean to you? Is there a German equivalent?
I don't know if there's an exact German equivalent. You could just say something, Männer or something.
I don't think there's an equivalent. However, people say typisch Mann or something like that.
Is it like a typisch Mann?
Maybe it's like Männer sind halt so, Jungs sind halt so.
What we would say is Männer. So it's more like that. So sind Männer eben.
I don't think it's as prevalent as in America, for example. But yes, there has been, oh god, I wanted to talk for 10 hours about this.
Another phrase that I heard a lot in the US was this, boys will be boys. And this phrase has been used in the US to excuse behavior from men and boys. And that could be like aggressive behavior or being mean or disruptive or some kind of mischief. And this phrase is used to say like that it's just expected for boys or men to do it and that they can't really even control themselves. And you know, it's not their fault because boys will be boys, you know, like that's how it's used to say. This is not okay, you know, like everyone should be held accountable for their actions. And if I were a boy or a man, I can only imagine that this would make me really upset and feel insulted. Like, what? You don't even think highly enough of me that like I can be held accountable for my own actions? You think so little of me that you just say like, boys will be boys, they can't help it. No. And so for me as a girl and as a woman growing up in that society and hearing that all the time, it really got internalized that at least in our society, boys and men aren't held accountable for their actions and that maybe sometimes they can't even control it, you know, and that's so bad for boys and girls and men and women and everyone. That is bad for everyone.
I'm almost afraid to say something for Germany because I can only speak of my experience, but then we have a great audience who can maybe share their experiences because I feel
please let us know in the comments.
I feel like I just try to like think of phrases in German. You could say something like, Sie sind doch nur Jungs. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly something like that, but not on this level that you described. And I'm actually a little bit shocked to hear that this is such a big thing. This exists for like kids, but just as like kids, sie sind doch nur Kinder.
The way I'm encountering this phrase is as an excuse to say, well, there was a little sexual harassment or some sexual jokes or something inappropriate, and it's just like, well, boys will be boys, what can you do?
And I really hate that phrase because it means whatever men do is okay because they're men.
The fault is you're doing something wrong. So he's not. He's just being a boy. He's just being himself, and it's just how he was raised, or just how, yeah, men and boys are working by nature. It's your job to adjust.
There is this idea of, oh yeah, men behave like Neanderthals, and we all know that in sexual matters. It does excuse what men do, but it also tells them, oh, if you're a man, you're sexually stupid. You're sexually, you just take what you want, and you're not a sensitive, sensible, emotional being. So it is actually a sentence that is derogatory for men in a similar way, because it tells them you're just a predator and it's normal.
This phrase puts you into a certain position as a man. It shows you that society expects you to behave a certain way so they can like put you into the box. This is the man box.
Men are behaving horribly, and we're just like, yeah, but you know, that's just how men are, and we can change it and they can change it. It's just the way it is. And for me, that's horrible, because it's saying it always has to stay that way and there's never going to be any change. Yeah, also we're telling men it's basically okay to be an asshole or whatever.
I think it's a problem because boys are not automatically sexist. I think this is something we, and I literally say we because all of us, all men, are raised in this way. Not necessarily by our families. Families can be great, but just our entire social surrounding is telling us, boys and young men, that a certain form of sexism is okay and might even be a good thing. Excusing that essentially says that we have to behave that way. But I've seen so many examples of guys who are absolutely wonderful with women, who really treat them well, who have no problem being married to a woman who earns more, who's successful, guys who want to spend time with their kids and take care of family needs and these kind of things. So boys can absolutely be different, and this phrase would just suggest that's impossible.
It's interesting because, I mean, there is some kind of discussion, I think, on lots of countries when it comes to how you dress. I mean, I think you do an extra video about this, but this is something I have experienced as a discussion in Germany and in many other countries. In many countries where the gender roles are even much stricter than with us. And we had the same discussion in Germany, you know, when we were like in school, that like male teachers told girls like, yeah, you dress too in a...
Oh, wow.
I mean, this was obviously discussed because it was not okay. It's just crazy. I think like any kind of such excuse is crazy.
Maybe you can already start to think about in which dangerous directions this can lead. If their whole life, girls and boys are hearing this phrase, boys will be boys, when they do something or misbehave, this continues on as boys become men and women and girls become women. So you've got instances where women are sexually assaulted by men and it goes to court. And when you have this society that has always been saying, well, boys will be boys, you know, that bleeds into these other situations of this feeling of, well, I mean, come on, what was she wearing?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
or
and you
and
still
boys
have
will
this
be
discussion.
boys.
You have this discussion in every single society, I think. And it's crazy.
It has been my feeling living here in Germany that this sentiment of, you know, excusing boys and men isn't as strong here. Although I do get a feeling that it does exist. For example, I've heard some things about like at festivals in Germany where there's a lot of beer consumed, that sometimes things happen and that the women aren't always believed, or it's like, well, but I mean, come on, you know, what was she wearing? Or
yeah, exactly. It's a generational thing also. I think younger generations are very aware, are like much more aware of this. It's also something that like that's our Northern German stereotype, but it partially always shows again and again that it's a little bit true that in, you know, Bavaria you have, I assume you talk about Bavaria.
Oktoberfest, what?
But in Bavaria you have like more, it's a more man-dominated society and it's more conservative in general. So you would see this even in like, there are things on like the national level that are like not acceptable. For example, the current Minister of Interior, he presented the management of his, like the new management of the ministry. So they took a picture with all those people who are in the leading positions, the ministers, then the people below the ministers, and the people who are like the kind of secretaries. He had the guts to post a picture, or like even, you know, no one ever thought about it. So all of them were men, old white men, all of them, you know. And it's something that was like widely discussed in Germany. And that like a few days later, they exchanged the picture, which is kind of crazy because they probably still don't have women in the management
They
position.
exchanged the picture, but they didn't change the jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's very much discussed also with the CSU in Bayern that they are the party with the lowest, like the most unequal male-female ratio when it comes to They are politicians, and there have been ideas to change that, and they are the only ones that are basically saying like, no, why?
We can define what is normal, and we can redefine it, and we can change the norms and say, yes, it used to be normal, but it's not normal any longer. But it also means we've all got to learn. So things that used to be normal and that are changing, and you've got to learn new ways of interacting. And you've also got to help these people learn, because I don't want to be the man who's, oh yeah, he's just an arsehole, that's just the way he is, you got to get on. I don't want to be that person. So they have got to be allowed to become fuller human beings as well.